wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably scary.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec podcast.
Welcome to the CoinTracker podcast. Oh,
Heyo.
whoa.
What?
What an entry. That was so exciting. You guys in the holiday spirit yet?
It's amazing.
Ryan, you
Bo,
need some
what-
like jingle bells
what's that hat?
like samples.
Is that a red hat?
Jingle
Do
bell.
you work for Linux?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I picked this up the other day. I was doing a pen test for a Linux customer and had to get a red hat.
Yeah. So they give you a red
Oh,
hat.
it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh,
Got to pay
yeah.
for that kernel update.
Corey's been working on that joke all day, so don't.
Didn't know they ran Linux up in the North Pole.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Santa
you
Slay
need long-term support.
Specifically. Yeah. Santa Slay specifically.
Well, I mean, you'd think they'd be able to afford, some, operating system licenses since they use like slave labor to make all the toys. Oh wait, no, that's Apple. Sorry.
Hey, that's volunteer, man. It's all volunteer effort.
Wow.
Oh, my bad.
It's an all volunteer
Is
effort, even
Santa
at
bringing
Apple?
us some special justice over Christmas or anything like that?
Yeah, are you bringing us any
Crypto.
NFTs, Santa?
Crypto.
NFT. Dude, just drive around your neighborhood throwing out NFTs. Wait.
I think that's technically a crime in Florida by this point.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, we already got a comment in the YouTube chat says lots of Linux in the KringleCon up at the North Pole. Yeah, so yeah. No, so if you haven't checked out Sans Holiday Hack Challenge, it's pretty awesome. And actually, I've seen some tweets about it. I haven't gone through the entire thing yet, but there's definitely some blockchain element to it. I did like as soon as you start, it makes you create a crypto wallet this time. So I thought it was kind of cool. So if you are listening to this, definitely check out the Sans Holiday Hack Challenge.
Cool.
I think there might be some smart contract exploiting in there too.
Yeah, join us in Discord, YouTube Live people, because we don't actually see the YouTube messages. Like all the hosts don't automatically see the messages, so come
Yeah,
to
it's not
Discord.
integrated.
Yeah, it's a good thing to point out. We've got a Discord that we have a live chat channel where we can chat about, whatever you want. I mean, if you want to jump in there, it's linked on the video currently, but it's also linked on coinsekpodcast.com. And we, I guess, guys, you just want to dive in? I mean, just jump right in.
Dive in.
Dive in.
Oh,
Head first.
did you lose me?
You're a little
Dive in?
laggy.
Okay.
You
Get
definitely
back
need to tell your neighbors to stop downloading whatever they're downloading.
Yeah. Okay, so SBF. So we've been talking about FTX stuff for the past few weeks, right, guys?
Yeah.
And we've got a little bit of a continuation on that. We've got more FTX drama and kind of stuff to follow up on here. So first off, authorities arrested Sam Bankman-Fried.
The
I think it's probably-
Bahamians got him.
The The Harry Plotter.
the Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So yeah, we talked about it last week. A lot of people had kind of been a little bit, let's just say, disgruntled that he hadn't had any negative repercussions. He's just sitting in this luxury apartment in the Bahamas, being like, going on webcasts and being like, I don't know what happened. I'm just an
I
idiot
didn't
with $1
mean
billion.
to. It was my first time.
I didn't know what I was doing. So, yeah, he's likely to be extradited. But it's funny because both the Bahamas and the United States want a piece of him, so they're going to have to fight over him. I think we know who's going to
No,
win.
I was reading, and I could be wrong. I was reading that they arrested him because the United States asked for extradition, right?
Well,
but
so let's talk about what the charges actually were, right? Because that was one of the first things. So Steve sent me a tweet of him getting arrested. I was like, I wonder what he got charged for. What was the exact thing? And
he got charged by 3 separate bodies.
So
the DOJ, the
Yeah.
SEC, and the FTC. He's like going through the bingo card of bad actors.
So what did let's walk through them, right? So the SEC, right? They brought 2 counts of securities fraud. So the SEC was the first to announce charges against Bankman-Fried on Tuesday, December 14. The SEC charged the former FTX chief with 2 counts of civil securities fraud. They accused him of violating the anti-fraud provisions of the Securities Exchange Acts of 1933 and 34. So
They
that's
knew
the
about
first thing, right?
blockchain back then?
I know.
Apparently, yeah.
He said the actual thing is that he built a house of cards on the foundation of deception while telling investors that it was one of the safest buildings in crypto, said SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. I don't really know how to say his name. But yeah, that's pretty bad. That's like
sit on a throne of lies.
that's basically as like for a government person, that's might as well just say like, and you a hoe, and you like that's pretty bad. Like that's like yeah.
Bad Harry Potter.
So, yeah, if he was found guilty for that or liable, I guess it's not guilty, it's liable, right? It's civil securities fraud.
Yes.
He would be barred from serving as an officer of a publicly traded company and banned from issuing trading securities outside of personal use, NFTs. Additionally, he would be liable for civil penalties, which I think would be the big one, right? Because if it's civil, that means you can go after his assets, you can liquidate his, luxury properties and all
Sell
that
all
stuff.
of his NFTs. Yeah.
So the other one, which is the FTC, charged him with 2 counts of violating the anti-fraud provisions of the Commodity Exchange Act. Charged him with 1 count of fraud, 1 count of fraudulent misstatements to customers. They haven't released a statement yet, so they haven't figured out their diss track, unlike the SEC. And then lastly, we have the DOJ, the Department of Justice, who's bringing actual
the big one,
criminals.
right?
Yeah, these are criminal charges. This is how you go to jail.
Yeah, this is
For a
prison
very long
time. Yeah.
Although this is white collar crime, so as we know from the history of the United States, he'll get one of those luxury prisons with a Keurig machine and 2 years and all that.
Keurigs are out of style, man.
I don't know. How much?
What is it? What is it? A bar TiVo or whatever? The pod bar thing.
The pod
It
bar,
might
yeah,
be cushy,
yeah.
but how many years did Madoff get?
I think he's still in, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got. I thought it was 50 or 60 years.
It's a lot. Yeah,
long time.
he's a unique. The question is whether he's going to get the whole 2008 treatment where he just nothing bad happens, or is he going to get the the full beans 50 years? I feel like he kind of
full beans.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so basically, here's the charges: conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers, I guess another conspiracy to commit wire fraud, but this time on lenders, wire fraud on lenders, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, money laundering, and then conspiracy to defraud the United States and violate the campaign finance law. Uh-oh. What's that about? Did he donate? To political candidates?
I think he did.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of different candidates, and I saw some of the reports that the max of their campaign donations, which in some cases is $2,000 or something not a lot.
Yeah, but what about PACs? Isn't that the way they get around that?
I don't know. I didn't see that part of it. I just
either way, he's being charged with it, so I'm assuming it's not whatever he did. He screwed up. Yeah. So I guess the big thing that I'm thinking reading these charges is conspiracy. Doesn't that imply there's other people involved or other, individuals that are also potentially being charged in the future?
Maybe not directly, but it kind of sounds that way. I think along what you said, Alameda research, the other wing of this that they funnel money to. So I'm sure they left the door open for that as well.
Wow. Yeah, someone in Discord said he was the second largest contributor for some of these candidates. So that's a pretty significant, pretty significant activity. Not just here's $20, go get elected.
So on the so you guys have mentioned Bernie, and I actually looked that up. So he did die in prison. He was sentenced to 150 years.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure exactly how many he actually served. I was kind of fuzzy there. But anyways, he died in prison. So let's put it that way.
I mean, yeah, when your diet changes from caviar to porridge or whatever they serve in prison, gruel.
He was
that's
he was 82. He was 82 when he died.
You should get healthier.
Either way. So
Should
all
get
I'm
healthy.
saying is he may go to prison for the rest of his life.
It could happen. I mean, I don't know. I think the biggest thing that will be interesting to see is how many. When we talk about conspiracy, how many people are also like, involved, or we're telling him like, oh, dude, you got to donate to PACs. You got to get people elected. Like they're just like they bust out this like checklist of shady things that rich people do. They're like, all right, step 1, get someone elected into political office and use that to your advantage. Step 2, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. I mean, investment returns.
Step 3, hide in the Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like he couldn't have done this all alone. I mean, you can't just Google like how to do Enron. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that might be something that Chat GPT could help us with now.
Yeah,
Chat GPT. He's like, how to make millions of dollars illegally.
Oh god.
No, so you see, it's like building like a 3D printed weapon, right? Like you have to break it apart with ChatGPT. You can't just straight up like ask for like the end result. You have to say, what is the first step?
Right.
If I wanted to,
I got you.
Right, and
It's like the slippery slope.
Yeah, you got to take it one step at a time. Plus, there's
The
like a
thin
limit to
end of
how
the
much
wedge.
response is,
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I guess this is probably. I do think the Bahamas also want a piece of him. I think they were just a little bit slower in getting their charges prepared and everything. So I guess like even if he does go to jail in the U.S. for however long and then he gets released, I think the Bahamas will be like, "We're not done yet, buddy. Come over, come back." So I think
we won his casket. We're taking him back.
Yeah, I think he's in for a rough ride here because I think he doesn't really have any, like, he's not too big to fail. He's
not too big. That's obvious.
Yeah. Although I will say, like, a lot of consumers were screwed by this. A lot of powerful people, high-profile people, were in, lost their funds. And even now, like, I assume we have an article, hopefully, about this. But Binance, yeah. So Binance is seeing massive withdrawals. Like over the past, there was an article published on a few days ago.
Yeah,
that basically in the last 24 hours, Binance had seen almost $2 billion in withdrawal over the course of a 24-hour period.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
It's so there was a lot of uncertainty in the market, and then some big players like Coinbase, for example, right, showed some due diligence for how much funds they have, and they said they had a lot, and they proved they had a lot, to the point that Binance actually shut up and didn't say anything. And then they did some supposed due diligence where the due diligence actually literally said, we don't even verify this. And so everyone's kind of a little bit like feeling. So this.
Well, so this is way later. This is way later. This is like 3 days ago.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. This is just general. This is just general.
Slow progress, right? But a lot of people are pulling their money out of Binance because they're afraid it could be an FTX, right?
I think it's just I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just a general uncertainty, not only just with cryptocurrency, but in general. Like we've seen Tesla is just in a tailspin, which is a traditional stock, right? Partially because of Elon Musk's activities and trying to make himself look like the biggest dingus he possibly can, but also just trying to figure out like, what is the future going to be? Is it going to be a crypto-backed future, or is this kind of that, like we talk about a house of cards? I think a lot of people are like, oh, this is real now. I should probably, if I have, $50,000 in gains, I should probably like cash out before it goes to zero.
Well, I think the other big thing with people are pulling out, they're not pulling out dollars per se. They're actually just taking those cryptocurrency. That's how they're able to see it, right? They're taking that Bitcoin and putting it in their own wallet because they don't believe
it's not safe.
That Binance has it all.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess hopefully the article has some more details, but definitely like they actually pause withdrawals on stable coins, which to me, stable coins means trading, like you're trying to cash out, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, multiple other firms have paused withdrawals in the last weeks or so. And I think it's sentiment, but it's also, people are concerned about the backing finances. A lot of these companies, were they doing sketchy things with the money that they had, or were they, keeping it in the vault, so to speak? It's like a run on a bank. It's the same thing.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah. And they're gonna see if Binance has got the money. So.
Yeah. So basically, according to the Binance CEO, they're saying business as usual. We saw some withdrawals today, net 1.14 billion. We have seen this before. Some days we have net withdrawals, some days we have net deposits. So they did. Binance spokesperson said that they had more than enough funds to meet withdrawal requests. User assets at Binance are all backed 1-to-1, and Binance's capital structure is debt-free. I guess I'm a little bit confused why that went with pausing withdrawals on the USDC stablecoin, but sure. Like there might be a technical reason for that. It might be depegging or something. Like they might have a concern there that there's some protocol issue with the chain, but that to me is like kind of smoke. It's like you good over there? It's kind of burning. Like it looks like it's burning over there. Are you guys good? Oh, we're good. We're fine. So what else happened, Bo? Lodestar?
Saw it. Well, I was gonna say I was trying to find this, but I mentioned about an audit for but I can't find it.
I think I know what you're cutting.
All right, so
I know what you're referring to, which was the audit that Binance had posted. There was a third party that posted an audit, and then they took it down. So people were like, "Hey, why'd they get taken down?" And
yeah,
it was something to do with the third party stopped doing audits for all of their crypto clients, not just Binance. So it wasn't like they were hiding the reports.
Yeah, I think people right now are just really primed. They're primed for like trouble in the crypto space. Investments in general are not like just. I think in general everyone's like, oh, it's a global recession or whatever. So I think people are a little bit dicey, and then when you see things like the whole FTX collapse, it's like, man, I don't. People are not so confident right now. So I guess we can talk about the Lodestar Finance hack. So does anyone know this one, Bo? I don't know if Bo's internet's a little bit spotty, but see if he can get this one out.
Yeah, I'll try to get a few words out here. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can.
Yep, you're good now.
This is an Arbitrum-based lending platform. Lodestar Finance was exploited on the 10th of December, and it was a flash loan attack, I believe. For 6.9 million.
Wow. We have set all interest rates to 0.
So that supply and borrow balances are not moving while we weigh recovery options.
Yeah. So the hacker manipulated the exchange rate of the PLV-GLP contract. And then supplied PLV-GLP collateral to Lodestar, borrowed all available liquidity, classic flash loan attack. This allowed the exploiter to cash out what they could. However, a collateralization ratio mechanism prevented them from fully cashing out, the team noted. So this happened on December 10th.
X amount to pull out.
Yeah, it's classic. Like when we see these flash loans, a lot of times as they're exploiting it, the value of the currency goes so far down. So it's like, But 6.9 million is a decent amount of money to be stealing in this current time, especially from, I guess in my opinion, one of the smaller. Like Lodestar Finance probably isn't one of the bigger players in the field, but I guess hopefully we'll see how they recover. Follow the Twitters.
What happened to the funds afterwards? Right. If it's the usual or what?
Yeah, the TVL is drained, and currently the currency's down by 53%. So almost to the level of Tesla stock.
Tornado Cash or something from there on. But I don't see anything on that.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened yet. Possibly.
So I guess this next one is FTX stored private keys unencrypted. So this is interesting for two reasons. Number one, FTX still exists? Question mark? This isn't just they're not just packing up and walking away at this point. So this is information released by the new chief, John Ray III. Or John Ray the Third. I don't know. Let's just say his family's not great at coming up with new names. The new management led by Ray took steps to secure more than $1 billion of digital assets. I guess that's promising that they still have that much. They previously had stored private keys to crypto wallets without encryption during SBF's reign, leaving hundreds of million dollars vulnerable to theft or other malicious activity. I thought this was required to do business. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So is it safe to assume, like, when you sign up at FTX and you get a wallet generated, it just stores your private key in the database in clear text and good to go?
I mean, that's what it sounds like, right?
Maybe. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't say if it's like customer wallets or if it's like the exchange wallets, but it does say private keys are used to access authorized funds held in crypto wallets. They must be carefully stored that simultaneously leverage encryption technology.
Yeah.
So
it
sounds like
on
that
disk,
might be the
but
case.
It's running, so it's not encrypted.
Right. So it's like, it's stored in an unencrypted database.
I think you're right. So according to Nick Newman, the CEO at Casa, which is a non-custodial wallet, obviously they have a little bit of a maybe biased opinion on this, but they said FTX storing private keys unencrypted would allow any employee with internal system access or any external actor who is able to obtain system access to steal customer funds trivially. So it probably is exactly like Steve said. A database, Microsoft SQL database, keys.sql or whatever. And it's just like, everyone's private keys.
It's just an Excel spreadsheet with everyone's private key listed out.
I went to ftx.com to see if it was still there.
Privkeys.xlsx.
But it's now a Kroll website with like some case background.
Yeah, I just did the same thing too. I'm like, well, that was quick. Yeah, FTX is gone.
So I'm wondering, like, how many hackers out there are like, unencrypted keys? Maybe I can use SQL.
It is gone. It is gone.
So I'm a little confused because like they have like. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so this is part of their prepared testimony to the House Financial Services Committee. Yeah. So I mean, there is a new CEO. There is like a new, they are like as a corporate entity still trying, like someone's still answering the phone, I guess, which is a little bit weird, but you can't, I don't think you can like make deposits or anything.
Here,
definitely can't make withdrawals.
You can submit
over one of those phone calls.
Claim.
Do you have my money? No, we don't. All right, next call.
But it says they have, I don't know.
There's
they took
a
steps
claim
to secure more than
submission
one.
link there too that gives you an address. Like if you're a FTX user and you want to submit a claim to go ahead and do that.
You want to put some paper.
If you were a FTX user and you're out some money, maybe you want to go check that out.
Yeah.
Or went out.
Yeah, I think some people were a little bit upset with the whole indictment, like legal thing, because like it will prevent him from testifying. Sam Bankman-Fried, he won't be able to testify in front of Congress if he's in jail. So. What's next?
Yep. MetaDoc phishing campaign. So this is a new phishing campaign that has caused around 1.4 million in lost funds for various users, right? So this is an ongoing phishing campaign against a number of other people. So let's see. So Ryan, if you want to, there we go. So the attacker used a smart contract to create token transfers with zero amount to a similar address, same 4 to 6 bytes of the victim. Next time the victim tries to make a legitimate transfer, he or she directly copies the phishing address instead.
That's interesting. Wait, what is it shows up? Okay, yes, here's some images. So basically, you send someone a transaction. Then you just hope it appears in their recent transactions list when they go to send their money. So it's almost like taking advantage of the fact that these addresses are truncated on the Etherscan, like on this website. Like basically the first part of the address, they generate wallets until the first part of it looks the same, and then they hope that no one checks which is which when they actually make the transfer, which apparently it worked.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I love looking at phishing scams. There's always something neat.
It's almost like a typo squatting attack, almost.
Exactly.
So I guess the moral of the story is for targeted users, number one, check or honestly just paste, right? Like paste the address from a known good source. Use what? Oh, use ENS.
ENS, yeah.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. I don't know. Was it on the Ethereum chain?
I imagine. Let's see.
Like it. Yeah, Ethereum, USDC, USDT. Yep, DAI.
Yeah, I mean it's a really interesting attack. I think it's definitely, you know, if you're transferring funds, I think it's pretty standard to double, triple check the address you're sending to. But if you are doing a lot of trades quickly, I can see how this would work because you're just looking at your recent addresses. You're saying, okay, this is where I sent. This is my wallet from last time. Just transfer it again.
Oh man.
Done.
Here, you gotta click this. Here, check this. Pull this link up, Ryan. I'm gonna send you. It's a Google Doc link. It shows the values of how much has been sent to the attacker from various wallets, and you can see one of them is like $408,000 in DAI.
Yeah.
Like that's a bad day.
You're like that's weird. I'm not getting the money in my account. That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, that would not be cool.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess like honestly, here's a question for like the wallet, you know, for the people that make the JavaScript or whatever. I think you kind of have a duty to not use the whole like recent addresses thing at all. Like it's almost better to just not use any auto completion of these addresses at all. Like it's just there's something about like it's one thing if you're auto completing an email, which can have like there's actually attacks on that too, right? Auto complete attacks where you like email someone and hope that they auto complete you something sensitive, but like this is a whole different level of manipulation, especially like you're investigating specific people, probably whales, right? And then you're trying to generate wallet addresses that appear similar, right? So it's pretty, I mean, I'm not going to say it's advanced, but it's a novel technique. It's like typo squatting for a crypto wallet. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's actually really, really interesting. Huh. I'm trying to think how. So I mean, it's almost like a water hole kind of thing, though.
Yeah.
You know. I'm trying to think of like how are the victims actually finding these, right? Because
they send them a transaction. They send them a transaction.
You send a transaction to the user, and they see that transaction. Well, you hope they see the transaction, and they go in there, and there could be a link or something that goes to the smart contract. They approve it, and then you get your coins.
I don't think that's how this one is, though. I don't think this one's like that. This is different.
I'm saying that's what it sounded like Corey said, that if you send them
so you send them money so they appear in your recent transactions list, right?
So it doesn't say that they're sending it directly to them. So what it says is that they are creating an address similar enough to the victim, right? And then they're sending a token to a smart contract, right? So and it depends on which smart contract that is, though. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I guess they're saying that next time the victim tries to make a legitimate transfer, he or she may directly copy the phishing address from Etherscan or a wallet app. So maybe they are sending it to them, and they're seeing that like the originating address looks similar enough to their own that they're copying directly from like Etherscan.
Like the screenshot shows it best, especially because on Etherscan, like if you don't have a super wide screen, that actually truncates the value of that to column, and you can't see the end of the address. So you're only looking at the beginning part of the address, and you say, well, it starts with the same 1, 3, B, 8, 9, and you're like, okay, good to go. And then that's actually the attacker wallet. So, and it's in your recent transactions list. So you're thinking, oh, okay, well, I've already transacted with this wallet, so I know it's mine and it looks like mine. So, yeah, this is one, not super like technically advanced, but taking advantage of a lot of human elements, which is that humans are bad at reading super long wallet addresses of 32 characters of hex. So this takes advantage of that. Like Bo said, use an ENS name or just copy and paste the values. Don't actually just manually. I guess it's funny because this attack actually relies on you copying the wrong address. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's like all phishing where sometimes if it's designed in a certain way, it can take advantage of people's weak points being, oh, I don't want to validate 1 Echo Charlie, like every single time I do a transaction. So
All right.
Stay
Next
safe.
story we got is CoinTracker data leak. So on December 1st, CoinTracker discovered a leak list of emails and referral links of CoinTracker users online. No other personal or financial information was leaked, and there's no additional action that users need to take yet. So it says what happened, right? So it says the breach was part of a larger data compromise that affected one of our service providers, which they have since resolved. Our own database was not compromised at any point. So apparently, CoinTracker is sharing your emails and probably other information with a partner of some kind that had some sort of exposure, right?
Yeah.
So
Probably
it
had
says
it on an
service
S3 bucket.
provider though, which implies it's like they had an Exchange server at Rackspace that got breached or
It
something.
was probably an S3 bucket.
Yeah, it was definitely Rackspace.
It was
No,
an S3 bucket.
It was definitely an S3 bucket.
Yeah.
But this is definitely how these attackers get your email address for these other phishing campaigns that we keep talking about. So
I think we even had
data
somebody
leaks,
in
things
our
like
own
that.
Discord that had mentioned that they had received a phishing email that they could track back to that specific
One of the
CoinTracker.
campaigns, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Or the
Yeah.
campaign for that. Yeah.
Was that in live chat?
No, I thought it was in the general.
General. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because that was kind of interesting.
Screenshot.
I don't think it's in general.
Live chat.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't. So we did have somebody that said that they had. Oh yeah, here it is. It's in articles. So 0x Bin Chicken says they got a phishing email that they could track back to CoinTracker, the CoinTracker leak. So the email says so the subject is your airdrop, and it looks like it's coming from OpenSea, right? So it's trying to be like an NFT airdrop apparently. And it says, congratulations, Killabear's wandering the Killaverse with a floor price of 3.0093 ETH. Click the button to claim your, and it's got a little bear emoji.
It's a decent looking little fish, although it comes in and says spam, right?
Yeah.
But if you're an unsuspecting, just general user out there, you see something that comes from OpenSea team.
Yeah, I love airdrops.
If it
man.
lands in
They're
your
my
box,
favorite.
maybe you click on it.
Yeah, so to bring this up, someone also mentioned in chat the whole "have I been pwned?" There's a Gemini data breach. We I don't know if we have an article specifically.
Yep,
for
we got that in here. Yep.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about this before the show, but basically, like, this is something that Ralph and I have both started doing, and I would recommend anyone else do it as well, which is using an email service that you can actually create unique, hidden, like obfuscated email addresses for each service. One example would be Simple Login, which is a company that is like owned by or sister company to Proton Mail. Basically, what it means is you can have either a generic or a custom email address per site. You can set up like redirectors and wildcards and all this stuff. But basically, what it means is you have an email address. Like my Gemini email is like fartknocker01@icloud.com or something. It's not uniquely identifiable to me. And then you have, that. So if that address gets breached and then used by someone else, you know where it came from. And also, more importantly, you can turn it off. You can just say, this email address, nuke this. Like, I don't want this email address anymore. Change your emails and then start over with a new, fresh email that hasn't been breached. That's just that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, I guess you could use different accounts for every service.
I use Duck, so like DuckDuckGo. The search engine has the same thing, a little browser extensions you put in. So you go to a site and you like generate email, and you hit the button, it generates an email, but it all goes to one of your email addresses on the back end, right? But you get that unique burnable email address.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ones. The iCloud one, if you pay for the iCloud plan, you can use that. There's Simple Login, which is probably more configurable, and you can do a custom domain. Simple Login is probably the most powerful one because you can actually have you can have it automatically alias emails as they come in. Like you can have a crypto rule that anytime a new email comes in, it automatically assigns a rule. But yeah, I mean, basically consider doing this if you have concerns about, if your data has been breached or other things. Consider doing something like this so that your email address, you can turn it off. You can, if you disable that email address, it's not going to be phished anymore because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that's basically the biggest thing is if you use your Gemini email, your Gemini account gets compromised or your Gemini email gets compromised, just switch that email to a new address, keep using Gemini, and you can never get a phish. So
There's a lot of power in that, what Corey's talking about, and just having those emails. And then long term too, if you ever need to, since you're making a new email for every single place, if you change your email in the back end, get a different service, whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't have to go to all those sites and change it up because you just changed the redirector, right? So it kind of like can solve some of that. Since those emails unique, it doesn't matter that you're not going to care about changing them. So.
Yeah. It's just a nice little layer of emails shouldn't be. The other thing is it actually also reduces your data breach exposure potential because someone can't go and take your email and look at all the other sites you have and all your other breach passwords and all your other previous OSINT information that's been disclosed. So just kind of an OPSEC thing, especially if you're dealing with large crypto or NFTs or anything like that. Using private, unique emails is probably a good way to go. And this has kind of been a recommendation from a long time ago of like, it prevents a lot of email account compromise and SIM swapping attacks even. So, like, if they can't figure out that you own the wallet, they can't target you. So, but yeah, I guess we could talk about the Gemini one. This is basically, classic.
Same thing that you're talking about.
Classic what we were talking about, data breach. I think it was a third party, right?
Again,
so
third
party vendor. They don't say what it is. Maybe it was GoDaddy. Maybe it was who knows. But when breaches happen, there's always these sort of aftershocks of like, third party, someone digs through and finds a database somewhere, and that's,
And what you were talking about, Corey, specifically credential stuffing is what a lot of people are doing with these data breaches. And so if you're using a unique email, then it becomes exponentially harder to credential stuff because it's really hard to make the connection between those other, people, right? So other accounts.
That data is for sale on the dark web.
The super dark web. Don't visit this URL.
Hold on, I'm downloading it right now.
Exactly.
Sorry.
This is not on Tor, but it's dark.
Yeah.
No, it's gray. It's gray web.
It just all that means is the domain changes every couple weeks, but that's about it. Yeah, so stay safe. If you have a Gemini account, definitely be on the lookout. Consider changing your email to another address that won't get targeted, and then killing the old email. So, but yeah.
All right.
We talked about
Binance.
We talked about Binance. What about getting trumped?
Getting trumped. Trump NFT.
Wait.
Oh god.
I bought 6.
I was gonna say, how many did you guys get?
I
got
worth
20.
now? How much are they?
I got exactly the required amount so that I get to go to the special meeting, which I think is 24. Because
wait. You got the meeting?
45. I'm sorry. You got to.
I just got 45. A round of golf.
What?
Oh god.
What?
I get if you purchase over 45 of these trading cards, they're $100 each. They're on the Polygon network, but they're sold out. So I mean, you can buy one off me secondhand, but that's after I go to this gala. So if you buy 45, you get to meet former President Trump, at a gala dinner in Florida.
Yeah,
wait, are you being serious right now?
Serious.
The most shocking part of this, is that this is real. All this stuff is real. The NFTs are real. The project is real. There's a video of him announcing this, and it's just absolutely. It feels like.
Does he actually say the words NFT, or does he say something else?
He does not. He says digital trading cards. They're just like regular.
They're like baseball cards, guys.
They're like baseball cards for my target audience, who's 80.
Didn't Melania release an NFT
last year?
But they bought them all herself. So
that's right. She bought them all herself. So is that what's happening here? Is Trump going to buy all of his own NFTs and then meet
they're
himself?
already sold out. They're already gone.
I'm sure there are blockchain
exactly.
sleuths figuring out how to, if that's actually what happened.
I'm gonna put this in live chat. This link. It's actually a nice breakdown of the NFT and how it works.
Yeah, is this is this just money laundering at the end of the day? Like, is that what this is? Is it just like he bought all of his own?
I think the money goes to the artist. I'm not
10%.
The money goes to the artist.
No,
Dude,
10%.
I mean,
10%,
not
resale.
Not financial advice or anything, but I mean, this may be a bottom signal. I don't know.
It's already trading below. It's already trading below what it's.
I mean,
supposed to
Corey, it's the long game, man.
It's the long game.
Wait, Corey, are you saying that it's already trading below the $100 floor?
Yes, it is. If you look at that screenshot of OpenSea, it's at 87.
Oh, get a
It's already
discount.
below. It's already
So the
below.
floor wasn't even good enough, right?
The floor was. It's already trading below the floor.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Uh.
not financial advice, but that they do exist. Who knows? Maybe they'll be worth a ton of money.
I do think it's extremely funny because I'm glad that my
Ryan just
photo
pulled
is
up
blocking. Yeah.
Oh
don't-
my
Beeple's
God.
tweet.
So
Yes.
okay, so
Yes.
genuinely, I am glad that like. Ooh, yeah, no.
I don't know if.
I think this might violate some rules, but
B17 here.
yeah,
On
basically,
Twitter though.
I think the best part about this for me is that it basically shows that at the probably like market wise, this has got to be one of the worst times to invest in NFTs. Like
Yes,
no one heavy in the crypto industry is like, oh yeah, dude, NFTs are hot right now. Now's the best time to do one. It's
So
like,
hot.
but it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if it you know, whether it's a cult or whatever it is, it worked. I mean, they got them to. People bought them. Maybe for half the people were for a joke. They were very cheap, $100.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that OpenSea tells you the percentage of unique owners, which I think is kind of cool. So 33% are unique. So then how many?
That's
of those,
really low. That's so low. So
super low.
66%.
like multiples, right?
66% are people own multiple NFTs, which is just sad, I guess. But also that was kind of the whole point of it is you have to buy X
So-
amount to get the rewards, right?
What I really want to know is how many does Razzle Khan's wallet have?
Does she have an NFT?
She can't trade from jail.
Yeah.
No way she can do that.
I mean, I thought she's out, isn't she?
So
Oh, she's,
Hold on.
Doesn't she have a
yeah,
job?
she's out, but she's
I
not
do-
out of she's not out of hot water.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
do
but
have
you can
the
still
data.
trade NFTs when
The
you're
greatest
in hot
rapper
water.
ever, man.
The greatest rapper. I do have the data. So there are 202 people right now who have more than 45 of the NFTs and qualify. I'm one of them. I made it, guys.
Oh, no.
Oh God, Ralph.
No.
We're
Honestly,
gonna
though,
have
the
to- we're gonna
security
have to
risk
chat.
of this, the security risk of this is going to be significant, right? Like you have 200 people showing up to a gala where you're supposedly attending. Like
Are they going
he's
to
going
get
be
like
in the
background checked or stuff?
yeah, he's going to
before?
be in the
Yeah,
Pope
you have to
mobile.
bring all your NFTs in physical form.
You have to print them out. Yeah.
Here's my computer.
Here's my computer.
I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that, like, knowing Trump's history just as a business person, I don't think a lot of this is going to come to fruition in real meaningful ways. You know, is he actually going to play around a golf with some like crypto whale that bought the golden bulge NFT?
Well, I think, to be honest, I think the goal of this is to get people talking about him, and I think that works, right? No matter what the guy does, people are going to be like, "Oh man, look at what Trump's doing again!" Right?
I
So
mean,
he's
I
making these
gotta give it to
NFTs.
you.
Here he is on our
It's a great
show.
way to
right?
get
So-
paid and do.
I was going to say, I think the goal of it is to make $4.5 million from stolen most partially stolen. Like people were mapping like on like looking at how you could map like 1-to-1 a photoshopped image of like if you search for trench coat to like what basically what he
Oh my
like.
god! Yeah.
Like people were like cross-referencing like the source images. It was pretty funny.
Chat.
It's got to be AI generated. These
Like the
days, right?
Space Force one, if you just search like pilot suit on Google Images, it's like the first.
Some of them were really bad. Like I've seen NFTs that I feel like the images like are actually like art.
Kind of cool, yeah.
Yes. And I feel like some of these were like someone had a Photoshop with a bunch of
Oh,
BS.
he went on Fiverr. He went on Fiverr.
He went on Fiverr.
He went on Fiverr and said, "NFT project. I will pay you $5 per art. No, no holds barred. It has to
No
have my
holds
face
barred.
on it."
They have
$5
to be the best.
Yeah, and I'm going to sell them for $100 and make whatever that profit margin is. So yeah, I think it's a money grab more than anything.
No way Trump knows what Fiverr is.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
not.
well, somebody who does know did get that.
Someone in his house has a laptop.
Anyways, good chuckle. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, more than anything, it's just
Yep.
funny that like at the worst possible time for NFTs, he's like NFT project sold out. Like it's just funny.
He did say it was a very big announcement. This was a huge deal to him.
Everything's a huge deal to him.
Yeah, it's true. We had one more article, right?
I think we skipped
Nomad
we
bridge?
skipped to Microsoft
Oh, yeah, I
winning
added-
crypto mining on Azure.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. That's another good one.
Who would crypto mine in Azure? It's the most expensive cloud
I
platform
know.
known to man.
We got to make up those costs, right?
There's no way you could make up that cost. Like, there's
Microsoft
no way.
prohibits crypto mining now in Azure. They have changed their terms of service.
Notice it says without permission.
Without
But it also
permission.
says
Who
only
is mining
proof of
Azure
work.
services with permission?
It actually says proof of work only, interestingly enough.
To Corey's point, they're the most expensive cloud service. I'd be like, bring it on, burn those bills up. I don't care. You get charged by the minute anyway.
I kind of agree, but I would. So it is worth noting that unlike other providers, they did not ban, like, you could still run an ETH validator node, you could still run a Chia, Chia server or something like that. It's just proof of work.
Gotcha.
So, and also it says without prior approval. So, like, I guess if you're like,
Just send in an email
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, we're gonna be.
more than anything, I'm just curious, is this just something they had in the hopper and it had to go through their internal approval process before it was released? Or is this actually like a Band-Aid? Like, is suddenly someone doing like massive Raven coin mining on, like, because there's not even large, I don't know.
Our
There's not
data
even
center
large
just went down.
change.
All the power.
I guess I'm like, I don't get
I almost wonder if this is coming off of like malware leveraging resources to mine, because that's something that honestly, like, I get surprised when I see that, but we see it still in the news pretty often as like compromise of cloud
Cryptojacking.
virtual machines and
Yeah, and
resources,
then-
But doesn't the terms
and then
of
immediately
service,
spinning up a crypto miner.
wouldn't the terms of service also block malware though? Like,
Well, no.
Sure.
Bo's saying the account gets compromised, and then what do you do with that compromise? How do I turn that to cash? Crypto mine, right?
yeah, but they're not
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, not we're banning your account not because it's compromised, but because you're crypto mining.
Right. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't me. It was some hacker. Like, how
Well,
do you
yeah,
justify
that's what they're saying. So they'll
Combat
they'll
that.
catch them midway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very confusing move. I do think it's interesting. Like, they're kind of way late to the game on this.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, enforcement is devilishly difficult, right? Because, like, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you do? Block the ports? You're like, well, what about a VPN? Do I need, like, it just.
I would guess it's more just kind of a. It probably is it's a public release that goes with implementation of some new automated protections for this on the back end, right? So they had to update their terms of service to implement a rule that scans, for these kinds of activities.
Miner.exe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's avoidable.
Or
That's
just
literally the
CPU,
check.
or just CPU usage pegged to 100% for more than 24 hours or whatever, right? Like, but yeah, like, I would guess it's more just like a housekeeping thing, and they're not like really having issues with crypto mining on Azure because, like Ralph said, it's so expensive. Like,
Yeah.
they've got to be making money hand over fist, even if you are crypto mining. Like, their power can't be that expensive.
No, they're like top of the heap when it comes to cost.
Yeah, like a Linux VM with like 2 gigs of RAM is like $65 a month or something, or it's like $10 anywhere.
Yeah,
else.
they're not fighting on price. They're
No.
not. Yeah.
So,
Anyhow, cool, Microsoft.
what else we got? Is that it?
One last one from the Nomad Bridge. So previously on episode 66 earlier this year, we talked about Nomad Bridge.
All bridges are bad.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Well, got hacked, lost some money, blah blah blah. Now they're back. Apparently going to recoup.
We are reopening.
So it
for
seems like
Rug
they
Pool number 2.
updated. They updated though. They completely they updated their protocols. They updated their so they have changed some stuff. I guess this is probably a case study in how you should do it. Don't just be like, nothing's wrong. We're gonna keep going. Like, take it down, fix it. Yeah. What was this original hack? Does anyone remember?
$190 million.
Ooh. It's a big one.
190.
You're gonna do some kind of pro rata shares will be applied. I don't know.
They're like, they
may
should
be
just
issuing a
seriously.
token.
They should just say we aren't FTX.
We're not that bad. We're not FTX, guys. We're cool.
Hey, relaunch. We're not FTX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
they actually
I
use
guess.
an NFT to access
Wait.
their
What
recovered
is
funds.
step 3 there?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Use NFT to access recovered funds.
So you bridge and you receive an NFT, which is like your token for
Oh,
your tokens. It's like
gotcha.
your proof that you are owed money or something.
So
like
this
your
is an
keys,
airdrop
your car keys.
recovery. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
come back. Well, you can have your money back if you do X, Y, or Z.
I mean, if I was going to get my money back, I would be doing those things.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
So if you were
Cool.
affected by Nomad's bridge hack, check out the recovery process and hopefully get some refunds back.
All right.
That's it.
Well, we got for this week, guys.
Yep.
So
Well-
yeah, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to us just about the news and random stuff.
Yeah, this will probably be our last CoinSec podcast of 2022, right?
Yeah, because
Oh, we didn't make it to
Unless
100.
anything crazy happens. Unless anything
we'll
crazy
do like an
happens,
emergency
between
cast.
now and
Yeah,
You,
emergency
whatever hacker
Christmas-
is listening,
Christmas
make us-
morning emergency broadcast.
emergency broadcast.
Yeah.
if you're a hacker listening to this, don't hack something just so we have to podcast.
Your funds are not safe.
Just take it easy,
Yes.
man. Exploit it. Do it in like January 3rd or something. Like take it back a notch.
If you don't
All
hear
right,
from
great.
us, next week, then we'll see you in the new year probably.
Yeah.
Hit us up
Have
in
a happy
Discord.
New Year.
Appreciate all of you
anytime.
listening,
We're in there to
hanging
chat.
out. Yeah. Alrighty, well, guys, I guess we can close it out. Thanks for listening. Make sure
Until next
to
year.
subscribe so we can, show up whenever
Smash it.
we want, and then you hear, you get an alert and stuff.
You're gonna bing, bing, bing. They're here.
And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Alrighty.
All right, bye guys.
See y'all.
Bye.